trying to fix up these Bluetooth headset by adding some batteries to it, because the battery that's in it is pretty much near the end of its life. Looks like I mean, it holds some charge, so it's hard to say whether it's completely depleted or if it's gonna have some more. So I was too cheap to try to order a replacement battery for this headset, because it's an old headset and likelihood to find a replacement battery specifically for it is slim. So I would have to go by the measurements and try to locate the battery with those measurements, and it would still probably cost $7 to $10. I had some tubular lithium-ion batteries laying around doing nothing, so I decided to connect them in parallel to the battery that's in the headset, and soldered, I already soldered them on. Here are the batteries that I soldered together. The connectors on them are really fragile, and so it was a little tricky, and they wouldn't take on solder very easily. But luckily, I have some pure rosin, and as far as flux is concerned, it works so much better than flux that is used for SMD work. I'm guessing that rosin is more acidic and therefore allows the solder to adhere better. So I've soldered in the batteries. You see there's the original battery, and the wires are going inside the headset. And I connected the charger. You see this cable coming in, and there's a tiny red light inside it, which means that it is charging the headset. But when I connected a multimeter to the batteries, I saw the voltage dropping and rising, dropping and rising. So I decided to connect an oscilloscope, and here's the oscilloscope, and you can see that the power supply is providing 3.95 volts on average to charge, but it's doing it in pulses. There's about 100 milliseconds of no voltage going in. So it's a pulse charger. Since I'm a noob in electronics, to me this is interesting to see, and I was expecting to see some kind of square wave, but I was surprised to see just a dropout. Maybe I'm not as skilled at operating an oscilloscope yet, so maybe I didn't tweak the settings the right way to make it show me a square wave, or some kind of jagged wave where you would see that the signal drops down. Maybe it's because 100 milliseconds in this oscilloscope just cannot really measure that or display that in a different way than just a complete dropout. In any case, I thought this is interesting, and if you want to know what headset this is, it is a Logitech headset, and I believe it's Bluetooth, and you can use it with other Bluetooth devices, but I would have to look up the manual. And but otherwise, it has an adapter like this, which you can see opened up to add a micro USB jack to it to charge it up or connect an external battery to it, because the battery inside it is also not as fresh as it was when it was brand new. But you can see that it does seem to work a little better than the headset itself. The headset itself wouldn't really turn on at all with the battery that's in it. So instead, I'm just going to use tape to attach these batteries to the headset band, which goes around the neck. These headsets are not going over the head. They have these loops. I'm sorry, I have them in a different room. I can't demonstrate them right now. But they have these loops that go over your ears, and you are then able to put the headset on, and the band goes around the neck, and the left earpiece contains the battery, but the right earpiece contains the connection to the charger, contains the power button, and it also contains switches for adjusting the volume up or down. So that's kind of an interesting design choice that they picked, to send the wires to the battery through the headset band, while the actual charger connection, and well, they had to send the wires for the earpiece itself anyway, so they just sent the power wires through the headband as well. But like I said, it doesn't go over your head, it goes behind your neck, and that's why I like these earphones. But they became unusable. I kind of had them laying around for a while and haven't used them, but now I started to listen to music and possibly audiobooks too. Hopefully I'll be able to do that. And I was in search of a wireless headset because I got tired of dealing with wires, with wired earbuds and whatnot. But this way I would have a really nice headset. It's a quality one, really nice sound, and like I said, it's Bluetooth, or you can use it with that adapter that plugs into a regular headset jack, and you can see that it moves around and swivels a little to allow you to connect it to MP3 players that have, or a phone that have jack position in a variety of positions. This adapter can accommodate that. So in any case, the oscilloscope data, the power charger data is really the main thing that surprised me. And by the way, I almost burnt out this headset because silly me confused connecting batteries in series versus connecting batteries in parallel. What I needed to do with this headset is to connect additional batteries in parallel, but at first I was connecting them in series, and strangely enough, the batteries were heating up like crazy, which I technically do not understand why they were doing that. I guess the electricity was flowing through all the batteries because one of them was weak, probably the one that's in the headset, and so just there was a lot of current rushing in to try to charge up that battery, and all that current was heating up the batteries. But once I realized my mistake and connected batteries in parallel, you can see nothing is smoking or burning. They're connected, and the charger is able to connect them through the BMS that was part of the battery in there. By the way, that battery inside the left earpiece is already not original. I changed it several years ago because the original one went out. They're not, as you can see, the space inside the earpiece is very small, so the battery that goes in there is something, this one is originally 240 milliamp hours, and I don't remember what the original one was, but it probably was somewhere around the same capacity. And by adding additional batteries, bringing back capacity at least to the same level that the original battery was providing, because like I said, I kind of almost damaged these batteries by connecting them in series, and they were heating up like crazy. And all of the three batteries are providing not 4.2 volts. You can't charge them all the way to 4.2, doesn't look like. They are providing 3.9 something, which is interesting enough that this charger is providing 3.95 on average. So it kind of suits these batteries very well. And the way the lithium-ion batteries work is that if you don't charge them to 100% capacity, they actually last longer. So if you charge them up to 80 or 90% capacity, not to 4.2 volts, not to 100%, they actually last longer. And then, of course, I think you don't want to discharge them too far, but that's what BMS is good for. It doesn't let you discharge the batteries down to 3 volts or maybe 2.7 or something like that. And one of the annoying things with lithium-ion batteries is that if you let them just sit around unused, they have enough of a internal discharge current, or maybe it's not current, but they gradually discharge themselves, and if they're encased into plastic with a battery management system included in there, then they can reach a point where they're below the level that the BMS wants to work with, and it will report 0 volts output. And if you try to attach a charger to the battery, the BMS will prevent the current to flow to the batteries. So those batteries are impossible to recharge unless you take the battery apart and use a charger that is specific for lithium-ion or lithium polymer batteries, and you connect that charger directly to the battery, bypassing the BMS, and then lo and behold, you discover that the battery still has some capacity, although allowing lithium-ion or lithium polymer batteries to discharge all the way to 0 shortens their lifespan. So it is a good idea to keep charging up your lithium ions or lithium polymer batteries every so often. And once again, like I said, you don't want to charge them to 4.2. Of course, you do because you want a longer runtime, but if you want longer lifetime out of the batteries, then you charge them up to 3.7 most likely. In fact, one of the chargers that I have identifies that as a storage charge, and it charges them up to 3.7. I don't have a calculator right now and can't do math in my head, so I can't tell you whether that's 80% or not, but you can figure that out. Grab a calculator and divide 3.7 by 4.2, and you will get the percentage. So in any case, here's a little project that I did, and this pulse charger is what surprised me, and it's very curious. I'm learning how to fix electronics. Luckily, I didn't burn out the BMS or damage the batteries, and rectified my original mistake and connected everything correctly, so that now I hopefully have a little bit more life out of this headset without trying to replace the battery inside the earpiece itself, which, like I said, I would have to probably go by the measurements rather than trying to locate one that says specifically for this headset, because this headset is probably 7 years old or so. In any case, that's it. I'll talk to you later. Bye.